Human Resources, Chapter 12, Promoting Safety and Health, by Brooke Stanley. After reading this chapter, you should be able to summarize the general provisions of the Occupational Safety and Health Act, describe the measures managers and employers can take to create a safe work environment, identify ways to control and eliminate various on-the-job health hazards, and describe the programs organizations utilize to build better health among their workforces. Safety and health. It's the law. Providing workers a safe and healthy working environment is not just good for business and the right thing to do, it's the law. Here are only a few facts of cases where workers suffered work-related injuries. In 1970, Congress passed the Occupational Safety and Health Act, OSHA. The mission is to assure the safety and health of America's workers by setting and enforcing standards, providing training, outreach, and education, establishing partnerships, and encouraging continual improvement in workplace safety and health. OSHA covers all private sector employees and public employees in state and local government. Self-employed workers are not covered by the law. To help enforce OSHA standards, employers created workplace inspections and citations and penalties to help prevent work-related injuries. For workplace inspections, you are to enter without delay and at reasonable times any factory, plant, establishment, construction site, or other areas, workplace, or environment where work is performed by an employee of an employer, and to inspect and investigate during regular working hours and at other reasonable times and within reasonable limits and in a reasonable manner. OSHA has 4 levels of the inspection priorities. The first level is inspection of imminent danger situations. Second is investigation of catastrophes, fatalities, and accidents that result in hospitalization of 5 or more employees. The third level is investigation of valid employee complaints of alleged violations of standards or of unsafe or unhealthful working conditions. The fourth level is special emphasis inspections aimed at specific high-hazard industries, occupations, or substances that are injuries to health. There are 3 types of citation and penalty levels: other than serious, serious, and willful. Other than serious is a violation that has a direct relationship to job safety and health, but one unlikely to cause death or serious physical harm. Serious is a violation for which there is substantial probability that death or serious physical harm could result and the employer knew or should have known of the hazard. Willful is a violation that the employer intentionally and knowingly commits, or a violation that the employer commits with plain indifference to the law. Besides helping employers identify and correct specific hazards, OSHA can help employers develop and implement effective workplace safety and health programs that emphasize preventing worker injuries and illnesses. OSHA provides free on-site consultation services. Consultants from the state government or private contractors help employers identify hazardous conditions and determine corrective measures. Volunteering is a cooperative relationship among employers, employees, unions, and OSHA can be a useful alternative to traditional OSHA enforcement procedures, serving as an effective way to ensure workers' safety and health. Alliances enable organizations to collaborate with OSHA to prevent injuries and illnesses in the workplace. Strategic partnerships are a long-term agreement between employers and OSHA aimed at reducing serious workplace hazards and achieving a high level of worker safety and health. Voluntary protection programs represent OSHA's effort to extend worker protection beyond the minimum required OSHA standards. SHARP, or Safety and Health Achievement Recognition Program, is an OSHA certification program that recognizes small employers with exemplary achievements in workplace safety and health. In addition to providing hazard-free workplace and complying with the applicable standards, employers must inform all of their employees about the safety and health requirements of OSHA. They are also required to keep certain records and to compile and post an annual summary of work-related injuries and illnesses. Both employers and employees have certain responsibilities and rights under OSHA. Employees are required to comply with all applicable OSHA standards, to report hazardous conditions, and to follow all employer safety and health rules and regulations, including those prescribing the use of protective equipment. The right to know laws are laws that require employers to advise employees about the hazardous chemicals they handle. Workers have a right to demand safety and healthy conditions on the job without fear of punishment. One way to help create a culture of safety within an organization is to encourage supervisors to incorporate safety into their interviews with job candidates. Fitness for duty evaluations are evaluations randomly conducted to determine an employee's physical, mental, and emotional fitness for a job. One of a supervisor's major responsibilities is to communicate to an employee the need to work safely. Beginning with new employee orientation, safety should be emphasized continually. To keep employees aware of hazards, some organizations provide their employees with small OSHA quick cards. The cards contain brief safety and health information employees can keep on hand and refer to as necessary. The supervisor and a member of the safety committee should investigate every accident, even those considered minor. OSHA requirements mandate that employers with 11 or more employees maintain records of work-related occupational injuries and illnesses. Workers face many different safety hazards on the job, which differ depending upon their occupation. Few safety issues have been in the news more lately than employee fatigue. Fatigue is more of a problem in organizations that operate around the clock or have night shifts. Studies show that 30 to 50% of night shift workers report falling asleep at least once a week while on the job. According to National Highway Traffic Safety Administration studies, people who send text messages while driving are 23 more times likely to crash than other drivers, and distracted driving accounts for 80% of all accidents. Workplace violence includes, but is not limited to, beating, stabbing, suicide, shootings, rape, near suicide, psychological traumas such as threats, obscene phone calls, and intimidating presence, and harassment of any nature such as being followed, sworn at, or shouted at. In order to reduce workplace violence, OSHA first recommends firms to analyze their workplaces to uncover areas of potential violence and develop violence prevention programs and training for their employees. To begin, background checks on job applicants should be conducted to ensure they don't have history showing a past in aggression or violence. Other measures to reduce workplace violence include having workers team up in pairs rather than working alone, and making environmental adjustments such as increasing lighting levels, locking down entries to prevent unauthorized people from gaining access to the firm's facilities, and providing personnel with mobile phones, walkie-talkies, and panic devices. A firm's HR department must effectively communicate to a firm's employees that it has zero tolerance for violence. Some organizations have formalized workplace violence prevention policies, informing employees that aggressive employee behavior will not be tolerated. These are a few violence indicators to look for when hiring an employee or working with an employee or employer. Direct or veiled threatening statements, recent performance declines including concentration problems and excessive excuses, insubordination and severe reactions to criticism, prominent mood or behavior changes, preoccupation with guns, knives, or other weapons, deliberate destruction of workplace equipment, or sabotage. Violence indicators continue, or fascination with stories of violence or war, reckless or antisocial behavior, evidence of prior assaultive behavior, aggressive behavior or intimidating statements, yelling or using profanity, written messages of violent intent or exaggerated perceptions of injustice, serious stress, legal or financial problems in one's personal life. Because an organization's HR department deals with every employee, it is in an ideal position to spearhead the effort to plan for emergencies, deal with them, and provide assistance to employees afterwards. An emergency action plan is a plan an organization develops that contains step-by-step procedures for dealing with various emergency situations. OSHA requires companies to have emergency action plans to deal with incidents such as hurricanes, tornadoes, and even floods.